Good 2018. Welcome to First Cup. I almost made my coffee wrong this morning. Actually, I did initially. I didn't put coffee in my coffee. I had some hot water with some leftover diluted out coffee that was not very good. Oh, hey. Me. I had a meeting yesterday. I had another meeting yesterday. It was a great meeting. It can be frustrating that there are things I can't talk about. And some of you might think, well, why can't you talk about them? There are aspects to business that are best not discussed until afterwards. I think is probably the simpler way to put it. Doesn't mean I'm hiding things. It just means there's an etiquette to certain things in business that you just don't violate. Just that there's etiquette in martial arts that doesn't have to be there. We don't have to bow to each other, but we do. It's the right thing to do. It's respectful. It honors our traditions. We could fist bump or shake hands instead, but we don't. I'm so glad it's Friday. There's a tournament coming up tomorrow, a little bit south of here. Hopefully it's warm enough in the morning I'll be able to ride the motorcycle. I haven't been on the motorcycle since May, which is ridiculous. Every time I have time to go somewhere, I'm going somewhere with too much stuff. I don't know. I usually ride in September and October for the most part. Those are my favorite times to ride. A lot of people rolling around Vermont in the summer. It's not always easy to get a good ride in because there's so much traffic. Might not be a lot of people, but our roads aren't very wide. Usually one lane. Sometimes it's one lane for both directions. That does not make for a good motorcycle ride. Man. I finally cooled off last night around here. I got a good night's sleep in. The cat did not disturb me too much as she did the night prior. And here we are. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and it's a little dark. I could probably turn on that overhead light, but I don't want to. Don't have a ton of stuff going on today. A little bit of stuff going on today. Of course, there's work to be done. I'll be at my desk for a number of hours. Have a phone call with a company that wants to warehouse our products. I've pretty much told them no. You don't make any sense for us. But sometimes you can go into a meeting or a conversation with a different kind of outcome. These people are trying to sell. I'm not going to buy. It is extremely unlikely, 100 to 1, that this would make any sense. But what if I learned something? What if in their questions, something on my list of, I didn't even know that was an option, pops up? What if this company makes sense in the future? There's so many unknowns. So I try to, let me say this a different way. One of the best bits of advice that I've received, and I'm seeing it, in a lot of different places right now, is do what you can to learn. Make education a priority, and that doesn't necessarily mean formal education. It just means, how can you add to that pile of stuff in your head, things you know. And I believe firmly that the secret in business is to reduce the amount of things that you didn't know you didn't know. And I first learned about the didn't know as important back when I had my IT business. I would consult with someone, a business or a person, and they were having this challenge, and I'd say, well, we could do this. And they would say, I didn't even know that you could do that. Now, if they knew that they could do that, maybe they would have done some research on their own. Maybe they still would have called me. Doesn't matter. But the fact that it wasn't even on their list of options means that they couldn't consider it. They couldn't weigh all of their choices. And at any given point in time, whatever the challenge, whatever the thing we're trying to do, there is so much stuff that we didn't even know you could do. So trying to find all that stuff, trying to add to your option list, I think is really important. So as I meet with this warehousing company, what I didn't know that I didn't know stuff, am I going to be able to figure out? Kind of cool. So that's why I do it. I'm not happy with how this is now. Maybe it was tall. Was I taller a minute ago? I mean, I'm shrinking. Shrinking as we speak. That would be weird. Yeah. So that's today. Gym. Go to Kempo. Go to bed early. Remember my 20s, going to bed early on a Friday night would have just seemed tragic. And now it just seems amazing. Have a beer, watch some TV. Sleep. Sounds great. Because I'll be up early, regardless of my vehicle of choice tomorrow, to go to this tournament. Support the team. Support my friends, maybe help out with some refereeing. What was the other thing? Oh, that was the other thing I want to talk about. See, I'm getting better at considering what to talk about on this show. Trying to solidify my thoughts and share things with you. So this meeting that I had yesterday, can't tell you what it was about or who it was about. But one of the things that we discussed, and one of the things that's been very much in the front of my mind of lately? Hold on. It's like a drinking game, but every time I say something dumb, I drink coffee. I've been very aware of what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And what I'm good at is identifying the opportunities for Whistlekick. All the things that we roll out, the Whistlekick report and Black Belt social media and the new products that I'm working on, that we're working on. And there are other things that I'm not good at, especially when I've been working on those things. So I think that's the advice, the hook, whatever we want to call it for this morning. What are you really good at? The more time you can spend working on the things you're really good at and not doing the things you're not really good at, finding people who are really good at doing those things, the better things go. Obviously there are exceptions, obviously there are limitations. But I think that that's the goal, not just for say someone like me as a business owner, trying to find people that are better at these things than I am to plug in these holes. But if you aren't a business owner, if you're an employee, finding a job where you can do the things that you're best at, because that's where your greatest value is going to be. That's where you're going to be most likely happiest. So to first understand what those things are, to accept them, for the most part, people that are really good at something enjoy it. It's hard to be really good at something you don't like. But figure out what those things are and make those the priority. I don't know. I think that's important. I think all too often, I know that I appreciate the idea of being very multifaceted, very talented across a broad range of things. And I think that I am. But I found that even though I have a number of different skill sets that I'm really strong in, I can't work all of them at once because they're different attitudes, they're different parts of my brain. And to switch in and out, I struggle. I struggle with that. It's why all the financial stuff I do is done at once, one time a week, because I can put myself in that mindset. I try to lump all the creative stuff. I try to lump all the podcast recording stuff because that's what works best for me. Now, ideally, somebody else would be doing the financial stuff, but there isn't enough to do to hire somebody at this point. Nor is it a good idea to completely outsource financial things. I learned that the hard way in my last business. When a young man came to me and said, I demand a raise. I said, you know we don't have money for a raise. And he said, then I'm leaving. And he had done such a bad job with the finances that we nearly went under. Thanks, Seth. All right, I should have put more coffee in this coffee. Here we go. It's after 10 minutes. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to stop this stream now. Go get some more coffee. Get to my desk. Maybe the deer will come out and visit. After the show yesterday, one of the young bucks was out in the backyard and we got to hang out for a little bit. It was fun. So I hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great weekend. First cup tomorrow will probably be earlier. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right. That's all. All right. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Peace.